Hello, everybody. My name is Ivar Slazdinch. I am Business Account Manager for Squalio, and I'm super happy and stoked to see so many people joining our webinar about Copilot, organized for Baltics and Southern Europe. What's important that our Malta's guests are invited together at our Malta's local partner, Image Systems. About today's agenda, we have three musketeers showcasing you the capabilities of Squalio and Copilot. The first one will be our solution consultant, Roland Svarna, showcasing more Copilot from practical view and I would say kind of academical view. He will showcase what's possible. But then his colleague from Microsoft, it's like several months ago he was a part of Squalio, but now joining Microsoft. Kristaps Sedls will showcase the opportunities with demo. And then the third one, Andris Sergeyevs, in his part, he will show the possibilities and what you need to do before you maybe implement Copilot throughout your organization from the security perspective. Before I give a mic to my colleagues, I want to let you know several words about Squalio, who we are and what we do. We are a company with 25 plus experience in our field, started in Baltics, now slowly expanding through Europe and working in different fields. Those fields are, and I would structure them in 6 ways. The first one is licensing. We work with 500 plus vendors, but I would say our cornerstone backbone is Microsoft. So if you have any needs regarding licensing, get in touch with us. We will find the most suitable offers for you. And then the next chapters are really close to my heart. The first one is cybersecurity. And here our team of experts help you with the things like cybersecurity education for your employees, different kind of pen tests, all the colors, black, gray, red. What you need, we are here to help you. And then also really actual audits like NIS2, ISO, regarding the next pillar, infrastructure. We help our customers wherever they are or they want to go. It is on-prem, hybrid or cloud. Our experts are here to help you, support you, and migrate if it's necessary. As I mentioned, 6 pillars, and the next 3 are AI and Copilot. And here, our, let's say, AI sommeliers, maybe it's in English, I don't know, will help you to understand what it is, what kind of road you need to take, and even help to implement it, either through Microsoft paid proof of concepts or workshops, or with other variants to see what is the best suitable version for you. The next one is ITAM, software asset management. I would say this is for large organizations to understand your environment and use your licensing correctly and efficiently. And the last, data and GDPR. This is somewhere where our data team, who are passionate about Power BI and Fabrics, will help you from ordering your data in right order till getting the needed information for your business decisions. And the last is GDPR. But what's important and what I want to add, guys, please feel free and leave your comments at Q&A session. State your name and organization. In case we do not answer it during the webinar, we will get in touch with you. What's also important that our guys are certified from the Microsoft certification, still specific cybersecurity certifications. But now my part is at the moment over, and I will give huge applause to a great, my colleague, Copilot, guy who shares the light for our customers in this Copilot and everybody else. Roland Varna, please come.
Thank you very much, Ivers, for the intro, for introducing everyone to today's event. And hello also from my side. My name is Roland Svarna, and today I will talk about some Copilot use cases, security, compliance challenges, and what could be possible solutions to those. We've obviously heard a lot about AI, but how it actually works, what are some scenarios you could possibly use already starting now? We'll take a look at them during this session. Before we start with the actual content of the session, who am I? So my name, once again, is Roland Svarna. I'm cloud security consultant, cloud solutions consultant for Squalio, more than 10 years in IT, some certifications, but recently, well, already quite a while, been working with AI specifically and Copilot even more specific. But let's start, and I think the first thing we could every one of us could acknowledge is that AI has come to work. We might not know it, we might not see it every day, but artificial intelligence tools are actually being used as we speak right now. The problem is that 75% of people are using AI at work. So from one perspective, it is great that our employees are taking the initiative. The biggest problem is that 78% of those users actually bring their own AI tools to work, which means we can't really control what they use, what they do with these tools, and there could become a very big problem with a lot of security issues from that. But while employee usage is quite high, the leadership is lagging a bit behind, and that's okay. These are just numbers, right? 79% of leaders actually believe that AI is imperative for their businesses to continue to grow, but most of the people, like 60% of people, actually lack the vision of how to actually implement these tools, and 59% worry about quantifying the gains. That is completely okay. Don't be afraid if you are in one of these percentages. That's why we have the session today to possibly give you some scenarios where you could use Copilot. Why Copilot though? I pretty often receive a question, how do you compare it to like other tools? And I never do the comparison because I always say Copilot is a one more complex tool than other chatbots that are out there, because it's not only your single chat destination for work, for web. It's also available in your Microsoft 365 applications, so very convenient. You can just get into your Words and PowerPoints, and the Copilot button is just there. Also, it can be connected to other data through Microsoft Graph. And of course, there's also Copilot Studio, where you can build your own custom tools, custom agents to pretty much resolve some of your business complications. Why Copilot is the assistant you can trust? Well, first of all, because it honors your existing permissions. Because I also get this question a lot, like, okay, I get the Copilot now it will see everything, and it could probably be attached to some sensitive data. The short answer is no. If you have your policies in place, Copilot won't override them in any way. It will honor them. And if you want even more control, you can take a look at some upper class Microsoft license packages where you can get, for example, risk-based conditional access policies, where you can be even more specific on who accesses what data at what time. From governance and compliance perspective, Copilot obviously complies to all the regulations, and you also have a chance to view what is the AI usage. And if you want to, you can go to your Microsoft 365 Admin Center and actually go through the Copilot setup wizard, where they will explain you in details why Copilot is the way it is, how it uses data, etc. And from privacy perspective, your data never leaves your secure cloud. You always have that choice of what you actually want to put in something that Copilot has given you. So you always have that choice. And more importantly, your data isn't used to actually train those foundation models. Not in the free version, not in the paid version. So you can be assured that your data is safe. But with all these AI revolutions, so to speak, there's been a new term added to our heads in a way, AI power user. So if you remember, like 20 years ago, there were PC users who, yes, knew how to turn on PCs, knew how to turn on the browser, surf the web. But then there were power users who knew how to start their PCs with two right mouse clicks. They had bookmarks in their browsers, so then they don't have to type URLs again and again. So basically, they knew how to use PC more effectively. And the same goes for AI power users. They know how to, for example, bookend their day with AI. They use it to start their day, to look whether they have meetings, what is planned, what are some tasks to do. They also experiment with different ways of using AI because it's a work in process in a way. You always have to experiment. You have to find those specific ways how AI can help you. In the process, you redesign the whole workflow of your day. You use AI to analyze information. You can also use it to interact with customers. Of course, also from creative side, you can use it to design visual content. Brainstorming, it never leaves us. We always have to brainstorm. You can do it now with AI. And one of the more important things, keep trying if you don't get the perfect response, because there are good chances that you won't, especially in the beginning. But as you work your way through this whole AI maze, you'll probably get your perfect answer sooner rather than later. Just keep trying. But okay, let's go to some use cases, how you can actually use Copilot in your everyday working routine. First use case I've seen a lot of our clients use is processing information at a new level. And for this one, I see two very good tools. First of all, you have your Copilot in OneDrive. What that means, we store our files in OneDrive. We usually have some longer documents, longer PDFs, and we don't have to go through them anymore. We can ask, for example, Copilot in OneDrive to just summarize that document. Just tell me what it's all about. I don't want to read through 20, 30 pages of something. I can just see the best summary of that document. If you need to, if you have two versions of contracts, two versions of other type of documents, you can also compare those files, and you'll see that comparison in a table, and you'll see what's different in each file, in each paragraph, etc. So it's also a cool tool. And of course, ask a question. Sometimes you just need to extract the very good of that information which is in a certain file. And sometimes I don't want to read through a 50, 60 page PDF. I just want to ask a certain question, whether there's something useful for me in there. And that you can do with Copilot in OneDrive. And from business chat perspective, you always have your suggested prompts that you can use to stay informed what your colleagues do, what files they've shared with you. You can organize a meeting with them. There's a lot of cool suggestions that Microsoft makes to you as you enter business chat, but there is also one great example that our clients have used. So in this case, a company wanted to sort of create a digitalization project. They needed an information system to be created. So obviously you need some other companies to do that for you, and you have bidders, but you also have your regulations, like what should be in that system, how many people should be taught about digitalization, etc. So what we did with Copilot in here, we had our regulations, we had a point system in those regulations, and we had our bidders, their financial offers, and based on those financial offers, what they actually offered to do for us, we asked Copilot to calculate that for us, like calculate through the point system which bidder is the best. And it gave us a result. We tested it multiple times. It always gave the same result. And this is a scenario that could actually work just to compare what offers you get to your regulations. Use case number 2, and this one has been a use case since the very beginning. Copilot in Teams, you can prepare for and summarize meetings. Now there's also a lot of languages supported, so it's even better. But in short, you can go to a meeting, you can ask a question, what the meeting is all about, what already has been covered during that meeting, and even after the meeting has finished, you can ask your own questions. So here in this example, you see that we had our internal meeting about Copilot functionality, how it actually works. And after the meeting, I can ask questions like, did we talk anything about security regarding Copilot? And it tells me that no, we didn't in this meeting. So I can pretty quickly find out all the details that I need. And in the end, I can also create a meeting protocol, because obviously you want to document everything that has been talked about. And you can even create a cool protocol of that meeting. So this scenario is a go in my book. Use case number 3, create new content with ease. And for that, I see Copilot in Word and Copilot in PowerPoint. And it's been advertised a lot that creating new content is really easy. And when you try it for yourself, it really is. For example, you can open your Microsoft Word, you can open the Copilot dialog box, and you can just say, hey, write me a document about Squalio. But you have two options there. You can basically tell Copilot to write something about Squalio with taking information from the internet, or you can even reference your own file which contains information about Squalio, and then you can write a document from that one. So you have multiple choices how you want to create your documents. Then you can rewrite certain parts of those documents, so you're always in control how good your document becomes. And from Copilot and PowerPoint, you can create very good presentations, I will say, in no time. Most times it takes up to a minute. It basically creates a presentation about everything you desire. So in this case, I can ask create a presentation about Squalio. It will present me topics which will be included in the presentation, and then I can pick and choose which topics I want to cover in the presentation, which topics I want to move down or up or delete entirely. So I'm always in control, and additionally, you can do it all on your own company templates. So even added value in there. Use case number 4, this might not be an often used one, but I've seen it recently quite a lot, because we always want to receive a feedback about something. We want to know how we've done, want to know how the event was, how the trainings were. So we're always on look for that feedback. And I don't know how many of you have used Microsoft Forms, but it's a pretty cool application, and it's just gotten way more cooler because you can also use Copilot. So for example, if I'm struggling with something, I don't know what to say, I can create an interactive quiz for our participants about Squalio. I can make it fun, I can make it historical, I could make it, I don't know, political, whatever I want. I can do it, and it will actually follow my instructions. It will actually create those 14 questions. I can check the right answers. I can change the questions. So there's a lot of added value in there if you like collecting feedback. So all good there. Use case number 5, your own communication assistant. And I understand that in 2025, we all can write emails. We've all written emails for decades now, right? But still, you might need some help with some emails, and not only help with writing them, but also just catching the idea of your whole conversation. And that's why you, for example, could use one of Copilot functionalities, which is summarization of your conversation. So if there are like 15 people involved in the conversation that has spanned over, I don't know, 3 months, and you've been on a long vacation through that period, you probably don't want to read through every message to see what was in that message. Maybe some messages were more like FYI stuff, right? Something that you just need to know, but not necessarily act on those messages. So in that case, we could use Copilot summarization functionality, where we can quickly see who has asked what you need to do, and what is the current situation in this conversation. You can also write your emails, but I think even the more interesting functionality is getting coached on emails. I don't know how well you can see my vulgar message right there, but what Copilot Coach will do for you, it will actually run through that message, analyze it, and suggest you what you need to change. Maybe you need to be more polite. Maybe you need to be more grammatically correct. Maybe you need to add some pleasant vibes at the end of your message. Whatever it is, Copilot will help you with that as well. And you can rest assured that your emails from now on will be almost perfect, I would say. Use case number 6, what we've encountered is that you can even use Copilot in hiring and onboarding process. And here we used business chat. So a situation, you need to hire some people. You need to hire some people for, I don't know, your finance department, for example, but there are some requirements that all the candidates need to pass. So what you would usually do, you would individually compare those CVs and then see which candidate fits the best. Right now, you don't have to go individually through anything. You can feed that information to Copilot, ask necessary questions, whether these candidates actually pass the requirements set by your organization, and then you can just see short summaries of each candidate, what they actually have done in their lives before wanting to join your company. If they pass the requirements, you can get all the information you want to know, and you can even prepare some job interview questions for yourself to look even more smart during job interviews. So this is one that's also greatly appreciated by our customers. And use case number 6, let's start getting into agent stuff. You'll see also a demo a little bit later, but one thing to know is there is Copilot, which is for everyone individually, and then there are agents, which potentially solve a big problem within your business. It could be a great solution to some of your problems. So agents can be even autonomous systems, which can work even without your involvement. And there are 3 types of agents. So there are retrieval agents, which are very basic, where you basically attach a knowledge base to that agent. You can ask questions, your users, your employees can ask questions, and they can get answers swiftly. Then there are task agents, where you can specifically say to an agent what it needs to do. For example, get your weather forecast for the next week if you're going on a vacation. And of course, the more advanced scenarios also include autonomous agents, which are scenarios when one agent detects something, there's an action triggered, it gives action to another agent, then the another agent acts, and so on and so on. And these can be pretty complicated systems which you can build with Copilot toolings and agents in specifically. Here are some examples. So a very simple one would be an IT help desk agent. That is something you can create really quickly. Just have your knowledge base, have your SharePoint ready. You can also add some public websites like learn.microsoft.com, which contains many great instructions. You can add those, and then you can just create an agent, publish it to, for example, Teams environments, so all your employees can see it. And then instead of bugging the IT team about password questions or simple questions, they can just enter that question in a chat with Teams, and they can get answer quickly and solve their problem. For a more advanced agent, autonomous agent, you can have a customer support agent, which potentially is being triggered because the agent has identified a new support issue. Then that issue gets resolved. You can send out automatic emails to your, I don't know, employees or other people with the solution. So it can be built very precisely on how you need it how you need it to be specifically for your business processes. So there are a lot of ways to do that. I will show you quickly how you can build a retrieval agent. So here's a step-by-step instruction. I won't read through all of it, just quickly. You can access them in business chat environment. On the right sidebar, you have an option to create agents. So access those agents, click on create. Just describe what you want to create, define your agent's purpose. Say you want to build, I don't know, a Squalio agent, for example. Add your organization data. If you have a knowledge base which your agent should be tied to, where it should take information from, add that. Define agent behavior, how it will answer users. Will the answers be short, long, conclusive, funny, maybe even friendly? You can define all of that behavior as well. Add additional customization, add logos, add more instructions, add more knowledge bases. You always have a chance to build something better. Publish your agent, share it with others, and of course, use your agent and see if it really fits your needs. If not, maybe you need to customize it more. After this, here you can see quickly how how I have built my agent. So I here ask create a Squalio agent that will answer user questions about Squalio. Just describe what you want it to do. Here on the right side, you see some prompts which are already there for users to click on, so they don't have to write that prompt, and I can name my agent as I want. Here is the knowledge base. I can add my SharePoint. I can make my agent to interpret code, to generate images, and I can also oversee my instructions. Here, of course, I have blurred because they are our own internal SharePoint sites, but when you click on Browse, here you can add some of the SharePoint databases. Then when the agent is created, you can test it out on the right side, and then you can share your Squalio helper, in this case agent, with others. So very quick. But okay, everything is looking pretty good, but what are some common security risks? Well, first of all, it's data privacy. Of course, Copilot can potentially access and aggregate data from various sensitive sources. And one of the common risks is also oversharing, because we don't really follow what we have shared with other people. We don't follow how long we have shared this information. Access levels and length isn't controlled. And of course, proper data classifications is a must, because Copilot inherits labels. And if your data are labeled, that means that not everyone can actually access those resources. So make sure that everything is good with your security. And I see as a great correlation with E5 license. If you don't want to do a lot of stuff manually, you can do it automatically. If you want it, you can have a Microsoft E5 license where you have, for example, tools like automatic labeling. As mentioned before at the very beginning, you can build your own risk-based conditional access policies to control who from what place at what time actually accesses your data. So this is something you can add to bolster your tenant security. Basic entitlement management, if you're really struggling with time frames on how long you give access to certain people, you can use basic entitlement management functionality. You can build specific access packages for marketing, IT departments, till what time, what actually is the access level. You can build those access packages, they expire, and that's it. Of course, you can also have access reviews. They can prolong that access, but if they don't answer access reviews, the access just gets removed entirely. And sensitivity labels. If you're struggling with manually labeling your documents, you can use E5 functionality, automatic labelings, where you, for example, could label your data based on what's actually in there. So you can also get some help with that. So all good from that side as well. There are tools available for you always, so make sure you actually use them. And at the very end of my part, I just wanted to say that in my mind, Copilot and security works together. It's not as easy as you will get Copilot and your security will get messed up, and the other way around as well. If everything is good, and we always have to make sure that everything is good, then Copilot won't mess up anything in your environment. It will just help. But that is it from me. Now let's go from research to work. Thank you very much. And please, next speaker, Kristaps.
Thank you, Roland. And hello, everyone. So let's skip to the work part because now we know how to work. Now let's work. And yeah, you see a little bit difference that here the work part is with a shovel. So and hello, everyone. My name is Kristaps Sadols, and I represent Microsoft at this time as Copilot technical specialist. And for this part, I'll build upon the foundation that Roland just gave you and share more with you about agents. So to ensure that you understand agents correctly, we'll also skip a little bit backwards, but not to overlap with what Roland just told you. So, as you might have heard, Copilot has a little bit updated branding again, which is Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, and that chat part is quite important because if previously you might have heard about Bing Chat Enterprise, and then there was Copilot Chat or something. Currently, it's Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, and the important thing is that it works on the same basis as M365 Copilot that to which Roland gave multiple examples. For example, comparing some of the internal documents or responding to emails, creating presentations, etc. And currently, this Copilot chat is on the same basis, and that means that all the users who have this included Copilot chat can also leverage agents, and they can also leverage those correct IT controls. So there's still the data protection and the agent management. Roland's already described where to find those agents, but just in case, if you're trying to do it also on your side, clicking around, make sure that you see this side panel. Because here the agents live. You can get some pre-built agents, or you can build your own, even if you don't yet have the full Microsoft 365 Copilot license. And also, if you're thinking about getting out of that group, which Roland's described, where majority of end users use some kind of bring your own AI, then most likely if you're using M365 already, like for Teams, for email, for OneDrive, files on SharePoint, you can also use this web chat. And the important thing there is that you have this enterprise data protection. So LLM is not learning from your employees' data, the confidential information that you have. So Copilot now is all the control system with the protection, etc. There's also some controls that are extra to the, let's call it, full Copilot. M365 Copilot, which comes at an extra license cost. As you get a couple of more controls and dashboards here on seeing how employees are actually leveraging from it, what value they gain, for example, spending less time on emails compared to their counterparts who don't have that M365 Copilot just yet, or spending less time in the meetings because they can get meeting recaps and ask about the meeting afterwards. But the big majority of controls you see here are the same. So you can control the Copilot chat just as you would control the full Copilot. There's also currently multiple places where you can control Copilots and agents. If you're an IT administrator, colleague after me will talk a little bit more about it in detail, so I won't go into detail here. Just so you know, there are multiple admin centers that currently control a lot of features and give you a lot of control in your hands about what and how employees are using generative AI for, in this case, Copilot. And quite important thing is that not everyone in the organization at the same time needs all of the features of Copilot, like M365 Copilot, because majority of people for work would start with chatting. Like we started a couple of years ago with ChatGPT and learning to ask questions to it, prompt it for most of the time for our private lives, sometimes feeding the model there and also using work data. But majority will be good enough with chat. And when you see that they are, let's say, pushing the boundaries already, then it might be worth upgrading them to the full M365 Copilot so they can save even more time. And not only saving time, but also upskilling. I feel that this is a conversation that we often miss with generative AI, as we think that, hey, everyone will save time and have more capacity to work, or maybe have some free time as well. But quite important thing is that people are getting upskilled. Like on the early days, I still remember what customer said from coding or programming agency, that currently junior software engineer with just a tiny bit of experience and university education can perform at least on mid-level software engineers level, as they're given tools like GitHub Copilot or the regular Copilot or other similar tools that can help them code better, and not only code better, but also to ask the right questions on how software should be built, documented, etc. So skills can be gained significantly faster. I'm also seeing that with my spouse, as she's learning to be a software engineer now, and Copilot greatly helps to save time on searching on the web for the right way to do things. You can now simply ask how to do it, and a nice guide will be there. But you still will need to choose the right option for your project, and it will only bring you one step forward, even big step, but just one. You will need to take the next anyways. But yeah, so Copilot might get through your organization like that, but still, not everyone will need it at the end. There are many workers who don't sit at the computers 8 hours a day. So in many cases, agents will be the thing that you want, because for every business process, there can be an agent. So an agent, a person who helps you get through this process much more easily, much more fluently, and saving not only time, but also nerves. I feel that in organizations or in smaller teams who get agents supporting them, the biggest takeaway is not the save time, but they're most happy about that they don't have to do that mundane task again and again and again and again each and every day, or even a couple of times a day. And for that, even Copilot prompts could help quite a lot. But to write a good prompt for complex problem, for complex challenge, you have to have the right pieces. For example, here's a good prompt with goal, context, expectations, and source information. And at the personal level, it's not so hard to do, but at organizational level, where there are a process that hundreds or thousands of people do, not everyone can be quickly onboarded to write prompts like these, or told that, hey, here you have this text that you have to copy in the other tool each time that you do this task. It's much easier with the agents. And agents takes the instructions that you give, just as the regular Copilot would. It gets to the knowledge, for example, some internal policies. More and more I see some standards like ISO standards, ISO standards, or GDPR, or some other regulations. And then company building an agent that helps the legal professional at whatever level to evaluate the text that they're writing against this policy. So that's something that agent can do, and it can do it quite well. And you would build such agent using Copilot Studio. There's also multiple connectors that you can use. The easiest is SharePoint to point the knowledge towards your main document library, but you can have graph connectors with pretty much anything. Even if you have on-the-premises file server or document management system, they can be connected. If you have graph connector for it already, then it's a matter of minutes. If you don't have graph connector, then it's a matter of conversation with the partner like Squalio. Yeah, so that's about the connectors. Roland's already introduced you to the retrieval task autonomous parts, and also gave you some examples of what across the scale the agents can do. Mind you that for Copilot chat users, so included Copilot with most Microsoft 365 licenses, there is a pay-as-you-go model. So you can test how the tool works, and then you can decide that, hey, this works very well, we have developed it good enough now, and let's deploy it. And you can quite easily measure what impact it gives to you, and whether there is good enough return on investment, pretty much. But for M365 Copilot licensed users, there's a counter only at the lowest level. So here, for the generative answers, for the tenant graph grounding messages, like asking to SharePoint, for example, there's no counter. So those users who have a Copilot license, the full license already, no counter, they can go quite easily there onwards. And then there are multiple levels of ease, let's say, how to get the agent, the work with agents going. So the easiest level is right within SharePoint. For example, you have some internal policies, procedures, or external regulations, because usually they are complex and no one wants to read all of those long pages. They are quite common examples where people start. And just as you have upload button on SharePoint folder, you would have a create an agent button there as well. Then the next step would be going to Copilot Studio. Like Roland shared, there are people who use what they're given to, and others who want to tinker all the time. So Copilot Studio would be for those mainly who create their own super complex Excel formulas or VBAs, or maybe have already dabbled in Power Platform. And then you can go even further than that, giving more functionalities with Visual Studio Code for Teams, where you can do quite complex and quite magical things. Of course, there's a bunch of ready-made agents, and there are only coming more from partners. And I won't go into these, but probably you see some familiar names there. At least one of those systems probably is already in your organization. So with these, you can connect quite easily. And one of the final quite important things is that when some, let's say, citizen-built agent gets good, gets used widely, it can be continued. You don't have to throw it out and build from scratch. You can go to Copilot Studio and build it even better for larger deployment, and you can optimize it further, connecting it with Azure AI Foundry. You probably have heard about a lot of new, super effective, efficient large language models from East, for example, that takes just a fraction of the resources that bigger models like GPT-4 takes from compute, meaning, and it also reflects on the resource usage from your safes, let's call it like that, from your budget. And you can say that, hey, this looks good enough. My users are already using it, benefiting. Now, how to drive down the cost? And you can connect it with using Azure AI Foundry to whatever other model on Azure you find. It could be from Meta, it could be from OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepSeek, whatever. They are all on Azure AI platform. Yes, so this expands a little bit more on it. I won't go any deeper there. But when talking about Copilot Studio, and when you want to start working with it, you have full access with it when you have the Copilot M365 Copilot license, or if you start a trial for 1 month. So those are the two easiest options to get access to it. And there you will find a plethora now of pre-built agents that will help you get the work and the testing going. You can, let's say, unpack them, configure them to your liking, sending them to the right places, giving them the knowledge from your information systems, giving them ability to do actions. The action that I see most often is creating a task for someone automatically, plus providing a link to the source. So, for example, there's a great campaign coming, promotional email to some mailbox, and this agent, autonomous agent, sees that hey, an email has arrived. It reads it. It understands that hey, this is bigger discount that has happened ever. So I know that with this product, I'm looking at the list. Adam is working with this product, so I'll assign Adam a task to get some of this product purchased. So at lower cost, so we can save quite good money and maybe make more money afterwards. Also, you configure the logic and channels here. As for the knowledge, I already mentioned the multiple knowledge sources. Of course, it's the easiest within the Azure ecosystem and Microsoft ecosystem. With the actions, you'll also find quite a lot of them, and you can get even more by connecting with APIs. If you have them for your system, you can build the logic, and the biggest magic within this logic is that in each of the steps, you can use generative AI to not code it in the old-fashioned way with keywords and very complex steps in between, but you can make it read and infer what should be the next step. And lastly, for the channels, it's not only within Microsoft 365 ecosystem, like Teams or Copilot Chat, where you can refer to these agents. You see things like Facebook. It can be public-facing, even on Telegram. WhatsApp icon is here as well. It can be in multiple places. So, for example, you start with this agent for mostly internal use, and then you go public with it. And that's also my let's say kind advice from experience with many customers, that don't try to build agent from the get-go that will serve all of your customers. Try to start with serving your internal support people, so people who support the customers, so they have easier time finding the right answers, formulating the right answers, and passing them towards the customer. They will be your pilot group. With them you will learn what works, what doesn't, how to configure it. Then you can publish it at a wider scale. But now let's jump to a demo. And we'll start with quite magical demo, which is say to say towards the public. So this is an online pet store, quite simple example, where they are selling this aquarium, this rather small aquarium, and here there's a customer writing to this pet store that, hey, I bought the item, it didn't work so well, it had missing pieces, I would like to have a refund. So this is from whatever personal email written to this help@petstore.com. And here comes in the agent. So agent checks that this customer really did purchase the item. It gathers the information around the transaction, that it's legitimate. It's not someone trying to trick us. And it gathers the details about the product, and lastly identifies the issue, that some parts are missing. And then agent at last auto replies to the customer. I wouldn't start with it, mind you. I wouldn't start with already such agent auto replying, but that's the beautiful dream end result. Now, this is what the customer receives. Very nicely formatted email. We're sorry that you had the issue. It's personalized, mind you. So hey Lydia. And then there's the let's say that what we don't like so much about customer support, that they are guiding us towards some instruction, but that's the reality. When you're the business, not the customer, you also would do the same thing, because, well, maybe not all the parts were simply found there. And this is how it looks from the back end. So in Copilot Studio, these are the instructions that the agent has, and as you notice, they are quite similar to what you would write to a regular Copilot. So provide relevant guides, information, like you were searching it by yourself. So in this case, it's in the backend. So you don't need to teach the service person to do all these steps, or to write this prompt, or to wait while they are searching for it and until they find it. You trust this to the agent. And here you see are the triggers. So quite simple. It checks for the emails, and if, so here's an if statement, and this if statement is coded as a simple prompt. It's not some complex logic where you have to build the blocks. It was coded simply by natural language. So if customer wants a refund or return replacement, then go to the next step. You see, there are also some other triggers there, and you could add even more. Then there is a knowledge base, which is quite important, that it's not looking on the web for the information. So you don't want to the agent to start talking about some competitors' products in your chat, which if you're not careful, generative AI might do, because it has all the information in the world. Okay, not all, as we hear on the news, they want even more. But some simple things. For example, refunds and replacements process, the website where customer can be linked to based on their problem, product guides, and CRM. In this case, CRM database is the one where it's confirmed that this customer purchased this product and maybe even purchased some other product. So let's skip forward. Yeah, for the actions, it's important also to follow up on. I don't see your feedback or like reactions or hands-on, but if you work in sales, either as a sales manager yourself or someone leading such organization, you know that people often don't like to update the CRM as often as the organization would need to have it. So in the case of agent, it can be quite a relief because it automatically does it. So these are the actions. It sees that, hey, I'm giving a refund, so I will update the CRM accordingly. Also, if some of the agents would talk to the person and would be checking CRM, they would also see this action. And here we can see how the flow goes with the activity. So the help request received, collecting the previous order details. This is the logic behind. Not all, but most of these also include generative flows. So if you're fluent or at least familiar with Power Platform, you see this is a Power Automate flow. So that's where it goes to. Also, the knowledge retrieval sources, for example, we see that in this activities case, it was the public website where the agent retrieved the video from. So you can also see if the customer gives you a thumbs down for the agent or it asks you to escalate to the real person, you see where the agent went off the rails. Or which part wasn't so desirable. And this is the quite important section. So you see this overview data, and you can fine-tune the agent more and more. Of course, if you would give it to public right away, you would get a lot of data, but probably quite negative data. So that's why I'm suggesting you to start with the internal people, like in this case, internal support. And yeah, you have the statistics. And also a summary of what the particular issue was about. So now we're going to sending a follow-up email where it also includes a photo of the faulty or the missing part, which is again generatively done. And finally, it as per the process in the Word document in the knowledge file, it escalates it further to a support agent. So support agent receives this notification from Copilot, customer service agent. Here's a nice description. The real person can check whether what the details were, where's the image, whether the agent got it wrong, and they can approve it or reject it, and then it goes to the final part on sending it for the replacement. So that's how it goes with this particular agent. As I told you, that's the dream world. But with the steps that Roland gave you, you can create an agent quite significantly easier or simpler. For example, here I have a quite simple agent created on my Copilot chat, and here it is. So here I have Microsoft 365 response helper, and with the steps that Roland gave you, just creating agent from here. I told it that, hey, I need an agent, or this agent will do answers to either IT administrators. So it already knows from the LLM knowledge that they will be very knowledgeable users and well versed in technology, or to end users. And in either of the in each of these branches, it formulates the answers a little bit differently. So, for example, in this case, I have quite a lot of instructions given to the agent, because I want to ensure that it gives step-by-step instructions, and for admins they can be more technical, for end users they can be a lot simpler. And this agent saves me quite a bit of time, because when I receive inquiry from customer, I copy paste it in this agent, and I just check whether it sounds plausible or not. It also gives the sources, so I can go into details. And it's important to understand that these most of these agents, unless you give quite a lot of effort in building it, you need a specialist to use it. It will save their time, it will save their nerves, but still we're at the stage that LLM outputs need to be checked. You can build an agent that doesn't need to be checked afterwards, but that will take more effort. But partners like Squalio, again, can help you on it. Okay, that's why I had previous as a click-through, because it was fast. Here on demo tenant, it seems that I'm a little bit throttled, so sorry for not loading it up fully. We had a full demo of it in one of our in-person events, so if we're going around the town, Squalio is going around the town or the countries, then you can view it live as well. And now I will say thank you. Thank you. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, not on Instagram or YouTube, not there yet, but I'm sharing these kinds of stories quite often. But now I will give word forwards. So yeah, here you go, Andris.
Hello, everyone. So I suppose you know what is Copilot and how it can be used and what benefits you can take out of it. But let me tell you a different story. What Copilot, what risks you have, or we can identify by, like, if we start using this new technology and we want it to be used, and how to start using as any new things responsibly. Yeah, but first think about myself. My name is Andris. I'm work with Squalio a couple of years already, but have a lot of years of experience in IT infrastructure projects. Work with Microsoft data security solutions and all other productivity solutions that Microsoft has. And yeah, so let me start my story about this Copilot readiness and why we need to prepare our organization on actually be ready before we start using Microsoft Copilot and like anything that is related to it. So my story is about two users that are every user. We have like employees in our organization that work on different projects internally. Some of them are like confidential. Why we don't want them to be like publicly heard about it. We may want to keep even secret in between our own employees. So to actually prepare this projects for public info, for public, and yeah, so we expect them to work. We need them to talk about it, those things that they are working, but know that they are creating some kind of documents, some kind of information that are like stored somewhere in our environment on computers in OneDrive, SharePoint that we use because of Microsoft solutions that we have implemented to our environment. And now we see that they just we have this project name that we like don't want it to like to be like known to everyone until we keep it secret, but we already have some kind of information regarding this project. And now we have like this Copilot that can like answer different kind of questions about data that it has access to. And one of these queries could be like regarding this project name. And so and people just are curious and want to explore like limits of technologies, what they can offer. And yeah, so they basically just ask Copilot to provide more information on that our like secret internal projects. And as Copilot has this access, or we have like something incorrectly configured, so permissions, this information is provided to internally to our employees who technically shouldn't know about like this internal work we are doing. But yeah, now they have this information. And if we move one step forward, we see like if we have like those documents, they're maybe quite big, but they contain like some sensitive information we want to protect. And yeah, maybe we have even restricted Copilot somehow in our tenant, but still we have like other world around us. We like don't live on an island, and people just explore those AI tools and like without deeply knowing how they function, what risks and what like policies they state that they do with this information, and they can put up like our secret or confidential information on those third-party tools. If we speak about ChatGPT, it's just like maybe on a Western world tool, but now we have also some DeepSeek or other states that are developing those tools, and which we don't know how this information is used, what is put there, and yeah. So in the beginning, if a document is confidential, user just want a summary of this big document, and of course those tools will provide the summary because this is what they do. But actually, the data you put there is used as a training data for other queries, and so this means that we don't have like any like control over what is happening to this information when it's uploaded and in some third-party tools, AI tools, and yeah, so this creates a new world around us, and we don't like just by wanting to make our like employees work easier with implementing those Copilot solutions and AI solutions broader. We have like those additional risks that we can identify because of like data those tools have access to, and yeah, so some data of course is like internal. Maybe it's don't have like some regulations, but it's like important for us. But we have also personal data that needs to be like kept secret, or it's if it's medical data, it's even more secret that we need to like govern who has access to this and keep it like secure. So as you saw, that this scenario is just one of the imaginable things that we can come up with, and I have like seen it very recently with like companies who start to work with and implement the Copilot. Yeah, so we have like problems with configuration in SharePoint, in OneDrive, that this configuration was like set up a few years ago when nobody heard about the name Copilot, nobody bothered itself about AI tools, and it's just there. So it's a real board situation. And now we have these new solutions, and we have a new risks that we want to work with. And yeah, so what we can identify from this simple scenario that there are like additional risks that we can see, and we must like if we worry about data governance, we must think about before we get our hands to Copilot, but broadly in organization. So data exposure. This means that even if a user don't know where the data actually is in our like digital estate, Copilot has like indexed this data, has like learned from it, and can provide any answers for the information that user have access to, and yeah, so this creates this data exposure, new scenarios, and this is the risks that we need to understand. So insider threats also quite important, that people have access only to information that they are eligible to access. And if they have access to something that we maybe don't know, and they will definitely use it because they just want to explore the tools, even maybe if they don't worry or think about that they are doing something wrong. Attack surfaces, again, so if attacker is in breaks your environment, has some permissions or credentials to use what ordinary user has, he don't need to spend a lot of time like investigating what is happening in your environment, where the information that he is looking for actually is. He just use the Copilot section, Copilot ask some questions, and have all the information that Copilot can provide to him very easily and in a very convenient form. And yeah, so again, so those attack surfaces, those threats, they are based on that we don't actually understand what Copilot has access to. It has like, if you don't control any access, so basically it has access to all the information, and if you don't implement any security controls currently to control users, so also Copilot will have the same access, and everyone who use it can ask different questions and get those secrets, and get your like salaries, financial information, personal data very quickly, and without even thinking if he like really needs or can have access to that. But yeah, so these are just risks that we can identify because of Copilot usage. But there are not only like risks because users are using Copilot, but also like certain activities that they do on normal business days. So sharing information, downloading documents, downloading and working with sensitive information. And we need not to just track this Copilot as a solution, but we also need to be aware what are like users doing with information that we have. We need to understand which of this is allowed or we want this to be happening, which information is regulated from state laws, from EU laws, for example, this personal data, GDPR, so where it can be stored, what is like a life cycle of that data, and how can we control it, like not just thinking about Copilot, who has like access to that data, but also regarding our users, how they work with it. And now, when we have this like problem statement, so we want to understand what we need to like do to like implement or the Copilot, and without like causing those data security risks and potential data leakages overall, just by like wanting to our users to do our job efficiently. And the first thing that I want to state is that we need to be aware of that the Copilot actually create this risk of data exposure, and that we don't like fully like control or are aware of what we have internally in like what has been shared, what has access to what information. Is this like still relevant, this access? Maybe user has changed a division, but still has like permissions to some research group that he worked on previously, and he still can like through Copilot have access to new projects, new information that is being like created internally, some invoices, some personal data, and you need to like understand so what you have before you can move forward and implement so controls that is provided. And of course that not all the data is sensitive, and also this division. So what is sensitive data internally, what is sensitive because of some regulations, and where it is internally stored. You need to be like aware of it and acknowledge that there are risks related to storing this information, and Copilot, like if it's used like in a not so good intent. And yeah, so if we understand this basic, what locations, volume, age, so the technical information, so contents of data, what it contains, so where it is stored, who has access to it, and then we can do some housekeeping as a first step to clean environment, set up permissions correctly, maybe delete information that is not needed, because why we need to store some 10 years older invoices or personal data in our like tenant or share somewhere in SharePoint. And yeah, so if we have understand so what we have, then what is the possibilities on how to mitigate those risks and how to try to move forward with this problem. And the thing is that Microsoft has thought about that, and we have this Microsoft Purview solution for data governance, for working with information, and it has this AI tools like governance built in currently, and we can actually have like those starting analytic reports on what like data we have, what users are like doing with this information. So in regarding the Copilot, but not only Copilot, also third-party tools. So what questions they are asking, and those questions, does they contain any sensitive information? Does this Copilot response with some sensitive information to those questions? And and also not just seeing how users are interacting, but also seeing where this data mostly is in our environment. So in Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, maybe Teams also, and how much of that data in those locations contains sensitive information, what labels, if we use them, this data has, and what users are doing there. And so these are like built-in tools that can give us some basic insights daily. So if we follow those graphics, how this adoption is going on, and also how users like are using those AI tools, not only Copilot, but also other tools that are available. And of course, this thing is not just about understanding which tools are used, but also that these activities really involve any like risky actions that users are interacting with those third-party tools. So what are their responses? So what are their prompting to ask, or basically asking them? And we can have all those reports, statistics, so daily baselines with built-in tools to actually, for first thing, monitor, to understand what is happening, and then based on that information, implement some responsible use policies, like internally decide what we want to be put on those tools, what we don't want, and we can what controls we have around that. And another thing what is available is this oversharing report. So basically we have this built-in assessment that runs in each tenant continuously, like each week, and provides this information about sharing of documents. So what has been shared, to whom, so internally, externally, so what labels or what data types this shared information has, and we can have this informed decisions. Do we still need to share it? And if not, there is a process in SharePoint that you can run so through those access reviews, and you can actually clean up the sharing and remove what is not needed, just make this environment for you secure and clean. And yeah, so this is just like a built-in tools, but they are thing that they give us is an overview. We have some possibilities that we can actually, after that overview, do some changes. So for example, this oversharing report, what I mentioned, that you can remove like unnecessary sharing, but there are other things that we need to do, what maybe is also available in Microsoft solutions, but it takes a lot of like time and experience, and you need to really go deep into like understanding technology to actually have a benefit from that on securing your overall data environment. And yeah, so one thing is that you need to monitor users that are sharing. So does they really need to share this information, or does they need to like download it to their SharePoint site, so or so their personal devices, and what like maybe if they still need access to that document or Teams site, maybe they have moved to some other division or some other companies, and yeah, so this is like a first thing that I wanted to like to do is to understand for everyone. What access do we have? So what has been shared, and do we really need it to be still shared in a way it is currently? And the next thing is when we like understand the sharing is actually we need to like go a little bit like broader away from just sharing links and to see like overall like security of our Microsoft environment. So because like we know that Microsoft constantly adds features, adds or removes that best practices changes because of like years are going and we are gaining experience, and to track everything of security field in tenant, it's a quite hard solution task for any administrator. You basically need a team to do that, and I would recommend like anyone, if they have this Copilot, not only Copilot, but if they have a lot of users and information to do this kind of security assessments that are like maybe external, because you have like need like a independent view on what is happening. And yeah, so if those Microsoft tools is a good way to start to understand the whole picture, we have third-party tools that we can use, and we use in our assessments to actually have this monitoring on information you are having in your tenant running constantly, understanding so what is there, so what kind of sensitive information you have, how many users, what are they working, and from those solutions it's even possible to like first of all assess like all your terabytes of data and monitor them constantly, and actually somebody to go in, see these visuals, go deeper to actual file levels, and maybe remove permissions or add labels to sensitive information from there in a like more easier way. And yeah, so in the end, I want to give some recommendations for everyone who is thinking about broader usage of Copilot before you actually run into some compliance or data leak issues. Is first thing, of course, is to review the sharing because sharing links constantly grow. Everyone is sharing. We want them to share, not to send files. During some time, this becomes irrelevant that the file has been shared, and we don't remove those permissions. So to this document. So this is the first things that I would like you to think about, to review and to fix. So the next thing is that, yeah, so we need to understand, so what data is important, what is what we want to protect. We have for that, we can label it also with Microsoft Purview, but label not only data, but also SharePoint. So we can control what label a site has. And based on that, do we want Copilot to anyhow access to that information? Next thing is about education, of course. The more we educate users, the more policies that we develop, the more responsibly we expect our users to use those tools. And again, DLP of solutions, if we haven't had it before, these are good things that allow us to track our data, control it, and implement like restrictions that we don't want our users to actually do with any kind of information. And of course, monitoring, if as it is a new solution, we need to monitor our users, see usage patterns, see what they are asking, what our response is, and track this adoption. So we really have like a feedback and benefit of those Copilot licenses, and it meets your expectations. And even after the year of usage, you see that you really had a benefit of them. And of course, those security assessments, not only like Office 365, like configuration security assessments, but also data security, data governance, or DPO. If you haven't had some such person in organization, I suggest you to have at least some external consultancy again, who can tell you what you need to really protect, what is like based on regulations, state laws, and any like your area that is you're currently working on. Okay, and yeah, thank you. And I will give word to my colleague Ivars to conclude today's session.
Thank you, Andris, for the insightful presentation. Well, what I wanted to say that checking the ratings, this has been the most popular webinar this season. So thank you guys who prepared it. To conclude it, Copilot is popular and interesting, and we are here to help you from the journey you start, choosing your best solution and the path you want to go, till adoption, working with agents, either they are 007 or different. So we are here to manage them. And of course, thinking about security, as Andris mentioned. So thank you all for your attention. Join our next sessions and have a lovely Wednesday. Thanks. Bye, guys.